Sandy Faust,
Here.
Joe Mullenix,
Here.
Dave Moon,
Here.
Patricia Russell,
Here.
Ron Rylance,
Here.
Dennis C., absent, Drew Stevenson.
Here.
Okay. Reading and approving previous month's minutes.
I make a motion we suspend the rules and dispense with the reading of the minutes.
Second.
Okay. Old business, there's none. New business. Economic development brochure approval. Has everybody been able to look at that online and check it out? Yes, I think it looks pretty good.
When you hand it out, are you going to give the thing in entirety or the first part? I was referring to the forms.
So it depends on what type of business is coming in. If it's a new business, then we'll hand out the whole thing. But if it's a business or an investor that's been here before and they know the ins and outs of it, then it would just be the,
main part of the packet,
Yeah.
and then whatever permits that they
Forms they
need.
need.
right.
Okay. Makes sense.
Are there any questions about it or comments?
I think it's impressive.
I think
it's
it'll be
impressive.
helpful.
Yeah, I think it's really good. Okay. I make a motion that we accept the Miami County Economic Development Authority business applications. I don't know what you call it.
The brochure.
Economic development brochure.
Yeah, that's good.
I'll second.
No second?
I'll second.
Rick Day,
Yes.
Joe Mullenix,
Yes.
Dave Moon,
Yes.
Ron Rylance,
Yes.
Patricia Russell,
Yes.
Dennis, oh, I'm sorry, Drew Stevenson,
Yes.
Sandy Faust.
Yes.
Now,
Okay,
at this point, this is adopted, it does not need to go to city council.
Okay.
Because this is not a city council matter, this is a zoning matter, which is something that's been in the works for years, so this is a done deal. All right.
all righty. Next, fencing ordinances amendment. Okay. I guess the main problem was the setbacks were kind of, I don't know, back too far.
They weren't user-friendly for the homeowner.
No, they weren't. They are to be, the fences are to be no greater than 8 feet and 4 feet in the front. However, the setbacks were 18 inches to the alley, and I thought we had discussed making that just to the property line.
No, not in the alley. Because not in the alley, because that's where the trash trucks go up and down and utilities are back there, so that setback stays. The
Okay.
18 inches at the alley would stay, because those alleys are pretty narrow, and if you actually went up in some places to your property line, put a fence there, trash truck's not gonna get down. And plus, behind that fence, you're gonna put your trash can stand or whatnot, it's just all gonna take up room, that type of thing, see what I mean?
I have also found out in the field that a lot of the property lines are actually in the middle of the alley.
Oh, that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
But that
Yeah, so the 18,
technically, that should only happen is if that alley at some time was closed.
right.
Yeah, no, these alleys weren't.
Well, we all know that sometimes record keeping, especially over at county. I mean, this has been a weird thing since, as long as I've been on the board, so.
Yeah?
So this
Well-
would be primarily allowing people to put their fences up to the sidewalks. Because right now, if you go through town, we do have a few people that do have their fences up against the sidewalk, retaining walls up against the sidewalk, but our ordinance says 18 inches back. And when you look at houses on Main Street, that's 1.5 feet into their property line, plus whatever they're building, their fence is taking more away, and that's just keeping their yards much smaller. Plus, it creates an issue when they have to clean up the outside, like mow in front of the fence and things like that, that's not being kept up as well because who wants to go outside their fence to mow a teeny tiny strip?
I like that one.
So most of what I did, and you'll see that Dustin and I worked on ordinances for the fence to rewrite it so that it was just at the sidewalk is what we're changing there, would be the only thing, would allow people to go up to the sidewalk on the sides or in the front of their house, all the way up, but the alley would still stay standard as it is now.
Okay. Are there any questions about the changes?
I'm good.
Okay. I'll make a motion to accept the ordinance to amend 151.080.
I second it.
Roll call?
Rick Day,
Yes.
Joe Mullenix,
Yes.
Dave Moon,
Yes.
Ron Rylance,
Yes.
Patricia Russell,
Yes.
Drew Stevenson,
Yes.
Sandy Faust.
Yes. Okay. Next one, improvement location project fee amendment.
So I had talked to Dustin, because there was an issue with the legal ad, and he informed me that anything pertaining, any ordinances or anything pertaining to adjacent property owners or fees, money, or anything like that, it has to be in the paper within 10 days before the meeting, like before 10 days. So I propose that we postpone this till the next meeting.
Well, I make a motion that we table ordinance number, oh, there's a number on here.
No number.
Ordinance 151.067 till the next meeting.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Rick Day,
Yes.
Joe Mullenix,
Yes.
Dave Moon,
Yes.
Ron Rylance,
Yes.
Patricia Russell,
Yes.
Drew Stevenson,
Yes.
Sandy Faust.
Yes. Okay. Mobile home ordinance amendment.
So this one is still being reviewed by Dustin. He saw some things in the Indiana code about mobile homes that he wants to double check. Two other communities surrounding us, Wabash and Kokomo, have both put in the ordinances to no longer allow mobile homes outside of mobile home parks. If they're already there, they can stay there, but there's no more placement of mobile homes outside of a mobile home park. And that's what this ordinance would then do. So I took the wording pretty much directly from Wabash, and that's what Dustin is looking over currently, but you will see it in your packet. It says Wabash across the top of it. That's pretty much what we're doing. I took out, they had some information on recreational vehicles, which we're not discussing at this point in time, so I took that part out of the ordinance.
So do we need to table this until he, okay.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we
I
table
mean, you
this.
can look at it and see
Yeah, I
if there's
just
anything
wanted,
in
if you
there.
guys had any questions
Got
about that
input,
particular one.
something.
or
Yeah, we can
anything.
look at it, but.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
He just thinks that there's something you read in there that might prohibit cities from being able to do that. So he's still, I did some research and I couldn't find anything, but he's going to double check before we
Okay.
put this through, just to make sure that we are on solid footing before we do this one.
Better to be safe than sorry.
Exactly.
But
Okay. Mobile home ordinance amendment. Okay, I get, the amendment is to not allow any mobile homes in any residential area in Peru. They all have to be in trailer parks, mobile home parks. Of course, there are a lot of them out there already, and they'd be grandfathered in, but from now on, they have to go into a mobile home park.
There's several down on my end.
Huh?
There's a few down on my end.
They're all over the city.
Yeah.
Right.
They seriously are.
So we're just going to try to get them gradually
Unless-
cleaned up.
They're modular and they have foundation and they adhere to a standard of a house.
Modulars and mobile homes are two different things altogether.
Yeah.
We're talking mobile homes.
Like,
So,
Trailer.
off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even though a modular home comes in on a trailer, that's not, we're talking mobile homes. You need
Right.
Mobile home park at this point.
And in the ordinance, it would still state that if somebody had a mobile home on a plot of land and it had been grandfathered in, they still had to follow those ordinances. If they didn't, then they would have to remove it, which is standard language that we have now, that if you've been allowed in, you have to keep the siding and the roofing and all of that stuff, and you make any
Up to
changes
code.
to it, then it can no longer be there. So that would still stay in part of that, too.
Are there any questions?
okay.
Any discussion?
But we're going to table this.
We got to table it
Yeah.
till
We're
Dustin
waiting
looks
for
at the
Dustin to
ordinance.
get back on one thing, so we're going to table it to the next
So
meeting.
make a motion to table the next meeting.
I second
Okay.
Okay.
We're good.
it. Roll call.
Here, Gerald.
Rick Day?
You're good.
We're doing roll call.
Rick Day?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Joe Mullenix?
Yes.
Dave Moon?
Yes.
Ron Ryland?
Yes.
Patricia Russell?
Yes.
Drew Stevenson?
Yes.
Sandy Faust?
Yes. Ever. Okay, let's talk about storage unit ordinances.
This one's good to go. This one's good to go.
I do want the board to know that there is a gentleman that bought the old movie theater down on the east end. He's already been in the talks with the building department and everything about putting storage units in, so.
Yeah, he started the process a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
He's already met with wastewater, utilities
Yeah,
and stuff like that
utilities.
to get that started, so.
He's been having issues with the sewage down there and all this other stuff. But I'm going to be calling him later this week to let him know that whatever this comes out to be, that he may have a timeline for getting it started.
Before we even talked about changing the ordinance, so,
Right.
I mean, that'd be pretty crappy for people that want to bring businesses.
Yeah.
Throw that one out.
Let them go halfway and say, no, no. Yeah. Okay, so basically, we're putting a moratorium on storage units, except for this guy.
So how many, we have too many in City of Peru, or
What's that?
who came up with this idea?
Other cities have been doing it.
We have
We
16.
We have-
storage
We have
spaces.
16. That one will make 17
In the
city
city.
of Peru.
In Peru.
Okay.
If there's an empty lot, somebody wants to put a storage shed on it.
Yeah.
My question is on item B, any prior constructed self-storage facility should not be affected by this. Are they going to be allowed to add any to their ground if they have room?
If it's within their room, sure.
Okay.
We can't dictate to them,
Well, that's why I'm just
Yeah.
asking,
no, yeah.
because I don't remember talking about that. I don't think we discussed that at all. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
What they do with the
Our-
property, the existing property that they've got,
Yeah.
as long as it wasn't like a second piece of property and they say, well, we're going to need to rezone it back here, so, that would be out. But like, if he had like, 60 feet on the end of it and goes, well, I'm going to put 2 more storage, then he can do that as long as he follows the ordinances.
Yeah, and our ordinance, the one that we wrote up and I passed through Dustin, specifically states that no self-storage facilities shall be permitted to be constructed within the corporate boundaries of the city of Peru. And Part B is any prior constructed self-storage facility shall not be affected by this amendment.
Anything else?
Okay,
I'll make a motion to accept the ordinance amendment.
okay.
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Rick Day?
Yes.
Joe Mullenix?
Yes.
Dave Moon?
Yes.
Ron Ryland?
Yes.
Patricia Russell?
Yes.
Drew Stevenson?
Yes.
Sandy Faust?
Yes. Okay, that's it, isn't
That's it.
it? Okay, are there any comments, discussions, questions? Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion that we adjourn. Second, third?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.